Okay, so we've got the potential surprise conference champions. Each league, this is from 24/7 Sports. ACC, they list NC State and Virginia Tech. The Big 12, they went with Central Florida and Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
In the Big 10, you guessed Iowa, and you would be correct.
Yeah.
Iowa plus 3,300.
Yeah.
They say they do not have the much weaker Big 10 West division to take advantage of anymore. However, their schedule sets up well. Iowa does travel to Ohio State, but does not face an opponent with better odds to win the conference title the rest of the way.
Yeah, and Iowa just traditionally, I mean, they're going to play good defense. They're going to run the ball. They're going to have good special teams. You just have to find an offense, and I know that's easier said than done, but I don't know if that's necessarily a dark horse. It would be because there's the number 2 and number 3 team in the country are there. I'd also have to look and see when's the last time a real dark horse won conference championships, because in all honesty, it just doesn't happen very much. And this is why I said maybe the Big 12, because when you're looking at the SEC and looking at the Big 10, you just don't – it's hard to knock off Georgia and Alabama, and it's really hard to knock off Ohio State, Michigan, and Oregon. I mean, that's just a nut grinder.
Utah did it, right?
Yeah, Utah's won the pack.
Yeah.
But again, I would make the argument that when they were winning that, no offense to Oregon and Washington at the time, but there's a difference between winning those Pac-12 titles and
winning an SEC title.
And winning an SEC title or winning a Big Ten title. And you saw Utah that never really did great in those bowl games, by the way. They lost in those Rose Bowls. And I know that there are some injuries there, but Utah was a good team. They weren't a championship team. They just weren't. Which is why I said if you want a dark horse, I would bet on the Big 12, or if you want a side of the ACC. I just don't see it happening in the SEC or the Big 10. I'd honestly have to look back when the last time we had a dark horse champion in the SEC.
Well, that's a good question, actually. You're probably going to have a hard time finding that, because I don't think a lot of things are listed by odds, like preseason odds.
Yeah.
But I would be curious to know that as well.
I'll look and see.
I don't think you're going to find that.
I do know that. I do know that. Well, for instance, just like in the Big 10, right? I guess Michigan State, right? That would probably be one. Although those Michigan State teams were good, I'm guessing that would be considered an upset.
Did they win the league?
Yeah, they won the league in 2015.
Oh, that's right. They went to the playoff.
Yeah.
Playoff.
Yeah. That would be the one. And even though Michigan State had it rolling there for a little bit, those were good Michigan State teams. In fact, I think Michigan State, if I'm not remembering this incorrectly, I think they won 2 during that stretch. But other than that, I mean, it's the closest thing you could say is Wisconsin or Michigan State a dark horse? You're maybe. And then in the SEC, I mean, maybe Auburn. And again, is Auburn really is Auburn when they won the national title?
Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to see the preseason odds. The other one in the Big 10 is Michigan plus 750, which again, I don't know. I don't get this one.
Yeah, I mean, I do know that. I just think that is one of the more, what would you say? I think that's one of the more polarizing teams in the country. If you ask me, are they going to win or are they going to end up with 5 losses? I would go 5 losses.
100%.
Yeah. I think that's a team that could.
I think people are jocking them for really no tangible reasons.
Well, the tangible
other
reasons
than they
is
just won the title.
They won the national title. They have a really good defensive line coming back. They've been recruiting well, and they're Michigan.
Yeah, I just think
recency bias.
The coach is unproven. He's in hot water now.
Yeah.
Come on. They probably don't have a quarterback, although they.
Sounds like they're just going to do a big old a rugby scrum. They're going to play multiple, and it doesn't even sound like 2.
Oh, dear.
There may be 3 guys.
That never works.
Lock, cocked, ready to rock.
Taking a whack at that.
And then the 2 in the SEC, surprise or dark horse conference champions, they're listing Tennessee plus 1,800. A lot of people jocking the Vols. Widely underrated.
Well, and they've got that Nico kid.
Yeah.
That's supposed to be. It's supposed to be the real deal. He was that $7 or $8 million NIL kid.
Good luck pronouncing his last name.
Yeah, I'm not even going to make the attempt.
Edge rusher James Pierce is back. And if they can, it says if they can survive an early road test at Oklahoma in Week 4, they could start to build momentum for matchups against Alabama and Georgia later in the season.
Well, and Tennessee the last couple of years they've been really good. I mean that's a legit program.
Yeah, Heupel's a good coach.
Yeah, but isn't that saying something that Tennessee's considered a dark
A
horse?
dark horse,
Tennessee.
Yeah. And also Missouri. They've got Missouri at plus 2,300. They have the easiest schedule in the league. They avoid Georgia, LSU, Ole Miss, and Texas.
I mean, but God, I'm looking through. I mean, I'm just looking through the history of the SEC. Just dark horses don't win. They just don't. It is a who's freaking who.
The other thing about Missouri,
of dominant teams.
They have a experienced quarterback, Brady Cook, and the perhaps best receiver in college football in Luther Burden.
Well, that's interesting. I mean, I'll tell you what.
Good coach, too.
Even though...
I hate to say that, but it's true.
Yeah. Like, it would be interesting to see, and with the playoff, I guess it really doesn't matter because we're going to see new blood in the playoff anyways. And even though Tennessee or a team like that, is there a huge difference between Georgia and Alabama and Tennessee? It would still be nice to see a team like that win. It would, if you could have a thing where, I don't know, Oklahoma State wins the Big 12, or I don't know, just like you mentioned, Central Florida. And then in the SEC, you had Tennessee win. And in the ACC, you had North Carolina State win. And in the Big 10, you had Iowa win. I think that's interesting because those other teams, the powerhouses, are going to end up in the playoff anyways.
Yeah.
I just hope that we get some of those, and that the playoff isn't LSU, Alabama, Georgia, who's another SEC, just dominant powerhouse, I guess maybe it would be Tennessee.
I mean, the next one after that, I would say Florida, but they're kind of down.
They're kind of down. But, that, and then the Big Ten, it'd be Ohio State, Michigan, Oregon, and Penn State. And then Florida State out of the AC. Like, if that's the playoff, there's going to be a little bit like, well...
Yeah. Yeah.
Give me like 3. I know we'll get a group of 5 team, but I just, give me 3 or 4 teams that I wouldn't necessarily expect, so that I've got a little bit of a Rocky Rudy underdog thing to root for, as opposed to just, oh yeah, it's like Notre Dame. Like if Notre Dame's in there again, it's like I need some underdog. Give me someone to root for. Give me the Michigan State.
I saw somebody did a mock one today and said that they had Memphis playing Oregon in the first round.
Okay.
Because Memphis was the highest group of 5.
Group of 5.
So you could root for them to get
and I know
beat by 30.
I know Beav Kook fan have been asking this question. I've seen it like kicked around. You don't qualify for that.
Dark horses in the Pac-12?
They don't qualify for a group of 5. The only way that the Cougs or Beavs would get in is if they were just an at-large berth. They are not.
They have to be ranked in the top 12?
Yeah, they would, and they would just have to be selected. So you get the automatic berths, which obviously you're not a part of, and then from the group of or from the Power 4, and then the highest ranked group of 5 champion, but that can't be you because you're not part of the group of 5. You're independent. So it's like Notre Dame is the same way. Notre Dame, the only way Notre Dame gets in is by Notre Dame just being selected as one of the at-large. So, that's Oregon State and Washington State are not going to be selected. So,
well, turns out you do knew that.
I do. I do know that.